All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday with my man Nades. Happy to be back from the All-Star break. Nice little 10 game, not little. I don't know why I'm saying little. Nice big 10 game slate. Coors Field on the slate. Most definitely the Cardinals will be the chalk. They are way too cheap, but still a plethora of other teams with team total like 4.8 and above. Do not think you have to jam the Cardinals by any means. In terms of pitching, though, taking the average of SHIPIT Nation and Saber Sim, sorting by projected points, 18.04 is the highest that we have. So not a great pitching slate. A good bat slate is how I see it. Ready to talk some ball. No weather to worry about. How we doing, Nate?
Yeah, good to be back here. Appreciate the boys filling in for me and yourself over the time. Summers are always crazy with vacations, things like that, but good thing we got a good team behind us over here and everyone filling in. So shout out to G, Ryzen, Ham, Rio, Hoop, the rest of the team for jumping in for me. I know I was out and had some extended delay there with some injury, personal stuff going on there. So I just want to give a shout out to the team there and looking forward to jumping in here. It's a 10 game slate, but I think you meant little because it doesn't seem like a 10 game slate, at least from ownership, where people are going, the good spots, and then pitching. I mean, there's 5 pitchers on the slate, all projected right around between 20 and 30%, 6, 7, maybe even. Some of them get there. So it's pretty much a slate where I'm going to take ownership into account more often than typically what I do. Normally, I always obviously take a look at ownership and use that to my advantage in baseball, especially when a sport like baseball is as high a variance as it is. I mean, it's a lot easier to be on the other side than to be with the pack. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. We'll do our best to break it down, but it's going to kind of be focused around Coors Field slate. Anytime we have Coors on the slate, and DraftKings throws out massive contests like a 222 with 250K up top and forgets to up the prices on the Cardinals, it makes a fun slate, but we'll do our best to break it down.
Absolutely. Got to say hi to people in chat like always first. Sean Sullivan, Little Neck, Jason, Woody, MN Holla, Michael Ortiz, Gangrene, Wardo, Paraby, our man Jake. What is going on? Cam the man. Hey, all right. I love it. Cam always is right to it. Zach, am I crazy for considering Gallen on a weaker pitching slate? Feel smart to prioritize ceiling over safety. I don't even necessarily know if safety is the word to use with Zach Gallen, but I mean, it's really tough for a lot of these guys to use the word safety. That's a good segue. We'll jump right into pitching. I'll do marketing. We have huge marketing going on, but I'll do that after pitching when we get more people filed in here. NFL around the corner. We have awesome deals, including Saber Sim, which we are sharing the best optimizer, but we'll start pitching. I'll get into that. Before we talk bats, Kid Lyman in here. What's up to you? Hope everybody's doing well. Again, like button, subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Pitching, that's where we're starting. It's tough. So what I'm going to list before we talk 8K and above is what I'll throw to you. First, I'm going to list K props that are 5.5 or better that have juice on the over. So if it's 5.5 and juice on the under, I'm not even going to list those pitchers. Again, 10 game slate, 20 pitchers, not a lot of them with the 5.5 or better K prop. We got Woodruff leading 6.5, juice on the under though, minus 145 on the under. He is the only guy that's at 6.5. After that, we're looking at a couple 5.5s. I am seeing Kevin Gausman 2, 5.5 minus 150 on the over. Then I'm seeing 5.5 minus 105, or excuse me, Shane Baz also 5.5 minus 150 on the over. So we got Woodruff 6.5, juice on the under. Baz, Gausman the same, tied for second, 5.5 minus 150 on the over. Then we literally just have Jacob Lopez, who's minus 120 on the under, but still some juice on the over at minus 110. And then Gallen's minus 105 on the over. But legit, 5.5 better over than under is Woodruff, it's Baz, and it's Kevin Gausman. Then like the Kirbys of the world, the Jack Lighters of the world. Like I said, Gausman, they got 5.5 some juice on the under. What that tells me, and as well as this projection, like 15, 16 And I'm fine spending down at pitcher too. Like if these big boys, Rodon, tough matchup, projects poorly. Senga, pitch count concerns. Woodruff, I mean, he's not going to go probably 90 plus. Not like we really need him on this slate. Kirby, never a strikeout arm. Boz, it looks like my favorite, playing the White Sox, good K prop. So I'll throw it to you on that, 8K and above. But you can poke holes in a lot of these guys. So curious what your thoughts at pitching. And man, I just noticed my mic wasn't even plugged in. It's been my AirPods mic. So apologize. Hopefully I sound better after I talk next. Take it away, Nate.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. You didn't sound too bad there. So shout out to, we got to love technology there. Slandering some AirPods. It's just the nature that we do, right? When we got our good mics out here, I don't notice that myself either when it happens. But I'm going to start with my SP1 on the slate. Brandon Woodruff, I get the pitch count concerns. I get it. But the strikeout matchup, the pitcher's ballpark out there, the lowest total on the slate, he could approach 90 pitches, and that's right in line with the rest of these guys. Look at all the rest of these guys' pitch counts. I mean, Rodon, 92. Kirby, 91. Baz, 91. Gausman, 93. Senga, 82, right? All the rest of the guys on the slate are all right there. So if it was a slate where we had other guys priced around Woodruff that had higher leash, like 100, 105 pitches, I'd be slightly concerned there. But with his strikeout upside, with the matchup and the ballpark, one of the best places to pitch, and he's looked elite. Even last start, he went 4 1/3. Still struck out 10 guys. In his first start, he looked great. His strikeout stuff, he really found something with some of his off-speed pitches that he has to rely on more now with the post-arm injury there. So Woodruff's my SP1 on the slate. I'm glad to see his ownership's being held in check because what you alluded to, Title, is there's a lot of uncertainty with all these guys. So people are just willing to spend less money, and guys go with guys like Shane Baz, George Kirby on the other side of the matchup of Woodruff, which I think is insane. Brewers are the hottest team in baseball right now. They already don't strike out, and now you have a guy that doesn't strike out in general, that doesn't have a huge strikeout ability in George Kirby, and you're paying just $400 cheaper than Brandon Woodruff. Ideally, I don't think I'm going to double spend at pitcher here tonight, so that's where I just sided with Woodruff up in this tier. Senga, if you want to take a chance on Senga, fine, but the Angels do have a lot of power. They also have a lot of strikeouts. The issue with Senga is he can walk himself out of the game really quick. And with the pitch count concerns there, that could be a 3-inning outing at 9,300 when I'd much rather just have Woodruff. So for me, it's Woodruff up here. And then it's Shane Baz, number 2. Those are my 2 favorite pitchers on the slate overall. Like them both a ton. Shane Baz, the only thing going against him is the weather and the ballpark out there in Tampa. By far and away the best place to hit tonight, even including Coors Field. The wind is blowing out in this park. It is over 90 degrees. That's the only downside for Shane Baz. But again, the White Sox still have to put the ball on the bat on the ball for it to matter. And Shane Baz has definitely tons of ceiling potential in his bag. He is going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate for a good reason. Price point is too cheap given the matchup there. Kevin Gausman, 8,500. This is the guy that I feel like is quote unquote the safe with upside play that people are going to keep clicking into their lineups leading up to lock. And I just have a very, very sour taste in my mouth for that. A guy like Kevin Gausman, who's already got beat up twice on the season against this Yankees team. And we know how powerful this Yankees offense can be. I get it. There is strikeouts to be had in there, but a chalky Kevin Gausman on a slate where I'd rather just pay. I'd rather gamble the dice with Zach Gallen against the all right-handed lineup in Houston for $1,000 cheaper than gamble against a team like the Yankees. So Gausman's the guy that is going to feel safe projections-wise. He projects really good points per dollar-wise. I think his ownership's going to be coming way up as you lead up to lock, as people are starting to click these and trying to figure out, do I really want to play Rodon? No, there's concerns there. Senga's got concerns. George Kirby, Brewers have won 10 straight. They don't strike out a ton. They're going to click Shane Baz. They're going to click Woodruff. And then the next guy they're going to click at Gausman. All 3 of those guys, I think, Gausman's going to approach those guys as the highest owned pitcher leading up to lock. I could be wrong, but that's how it feels. That's how projections are showing. When I run the optimizer and do a dry run by 150, you get more Gausman than you do Woodruff, Kirby, Senga, all of those other guys. The only guy that gets more projections-wise is Shane Baz. So I think that's going to be a popular combination there is Shane Baz and Kevin Gausman. I'm going to look to be a little bit under on Gausman. So realistically, my 2 favorite guys up here are Woodruff and Shane Baz. And then I'm looking to kind of save salary. And that's where I'm at above 8K.
It's a tough pitching slate for sure. Like, I'm not playing Rodon against a low strikeout team in Toronto as the highest pitcher, so I X'd him. I'm not playing Noah Cameron down here at 8K. The Senga stuff, I kind of misspoke. Like, Rodon's 5.5, some juice on the under. Senga's 5.5, same as Gallen. -110 on the over, -120 on the under. People talking quick hook, definitely. Pitch count concerns, most definitely. But on a slate where we're fine with like 17, if he's going to be single digits, should have run support behind him. If he can get 5 innings, 5 Ks, 6 Ks, like right around his K mark, allows 1 or 2 runs, gets the win, it could be enough. Like, I would keep him in the pool. Again, kind of let Saber, like I just wouldn't make the X like I would Rodon, Cameron, etc. in 20 and below. And if Sabersim likes him a little bit and it fits in like Cardinal lineups, if you want to play chalk Cardinals, spending up at pitcher and going Senga over any of the other 3-4 guys, like that's a way to get different, and I would have let SaberSim have that power to do so. So I am fine with Senga, especially, like, I don't love Kirby for all the things you said. Woodruff, Boz, definitely my 2 favorites. I do like Gossman more than you. It's now -160 on the over. There's also just the lineup came out. No Cody Bellinger, which I also like to see for Kevin Gossman. On a slate where I don't love many pitchers, he could still give up 4 runs, but have 7, 8 Ks. Like, that's the type of guy he is. A guy that today on the slate, I don't think playing the Yankees is crazy. If you're playing 20 teams, 3 Yankee stacks, you're probably overweight. Couple Gossman teams, you can be with the field, something like that. So with him having the second highest K prop at only 8,500, pitching at home, he has upside. So I would be including Kevin Gossman. But I agree, like, he's going to get ownership. Now, a lot of the reason for that is we're going down. Like, I think Ben Brown's an easy X. If you correct me when you talk, if you like any of these guys, I can add them back. But, like, no Ben Brown. I don't want Dustin May coming in after Ohtani. Fest against the Dodgers, absolutely no thanks. Gordon against the D-backs, very few are hotter than the D-backs. Like, I don't want to play Tyler Anderson. I don't want to play Sean Burke. I don't really like Elder, but, like, it's just so many X's as you go down to the lower tier, and the top tier is not great, that it's like, man, am I only going to have 4 or 5 pitchers in my pool? I don't necessarily know if I need that, but, yeah, who do you like, I guess, below 8K? It's slim pickings, I would say.
Yeah, my favorite guy down here is going to be Jacob Lopez, and it's really gross to say that, but Lopez does have strikeout upside. He's got a 5.5 K prop. I get it. There's juice on the under there, but 5.5 with the best arms on the slate, and he's 6,800. He's almost $3,000 cheaper than Brandon Woodruff, with a similar K prop there against the Texas team that I'm not really worried about. I know some of our guys in the Discord were talking about Texas and things like that. I'll take my chances on a guy that on a slate where I'm looking for 15 DraftKings points, I'll take a guy at 6,800 that has strikeout ability and upside there. So I like Jacob Lopez at 6,800, really gross click. Overall, I get it. The guy that I don't think anybody's going to talk about or click on is Michael McGreevy. And it's really gross, but he should be in that 85-ish to 90 pitch count range. He does have strikeout ability. The Rockies, I mean, there is strikeouts in this lineup. I get the weather. I get this team in general, but they're a much better team against left-handed pitching than they are against right-handed pitching. So I'll take my chances on a guy that has a 26% K rate on the road in McGreevy this season, even being in Coors Field when you're looking at the cheap arms and the arms in general. Everybody's condensing around the same arms. So I'll take a shot on the other side of that game there at 6,500. Because I didn't know it's not a slate where I'm going to need 25 out of both my pitchers in DraftKings, right? McGreevy, he's projected right around 10, 11 points, which is fairly in line with some of these guys down here. If he picks up an extra strikeout, well, that's 14, 15 that you're looking at. That's plenty good at 6,500 there. So don't hate that. Outside of that, I mean, Zach Gallen and Jack Leader are getting hit in projections pretty heavy. Down here, projected run has about 30% Jack Leader teams and about 25% Zach Gallen teams. Gallen is the biggest wild card on the slate. I mean, he just posted 2 34-point games, then he drops back off a cliff. You really have no clue what you're going to get with Zach Gallen when he's going out there. You could take a chance on him in MME stuff, single entry 3-max stuff, which I'm playing mainly here tonight. I'm probably not going to take a chance because if he does have that performance, I know you're kind of going to need the rest of it because a lot of the people that have a portfolio of lineups are going to have their fair share of Gallen, just projections-wise tells me that alone. Optimizer. So am I going to put my single bullet up against a portfolio or a handful of teams? I'm not sure when I like the other guys down here. So Jacob Lopez is my favorite guy. McGreevy's there. And then you could play liter or gallon, but neither of those feel safe. Is kind of how I'm looking at it here.
A couple people talking about like Cameron and Ben Brown talking about the weather, wind blowing in Wrigley. Obviously, wind means a lot more. Low totals for KC, for Chicago. My thought process why I did it, like I still don't like picking on the Cubs. 4.5K prop, a lot of juice on the under for Cameron, minus 170 on the under. I just feel more like I like Lopez. I don't think playing Texas is very bad, but Lopez has been good. He has a big arm. Like he could be a guy that lets up 3-4 runs, but still gets you 16 points when it's all said and done. I want pitchers like that on this slate. Lighter, like I'd rather pick on the A's than I would the Cubs at the end of the day. Ben Brown has a real price tag at 8K. I believe some pitch count concerns there. Anything on like Birdsong was down there. He was actually the guy I was looking at because the K prop, 4.5 minus 145 on the over. And once you get to the bottom of the order for the Braves, I'm not as worried about it. Again, I don't love Birdsong by any means, but I like him more than Elder. Projections don't agree. Ownership, again, pretty low on both. Did you have any thoughts on Elder, on Birdsong, on Brown, on Cameron in that weather game?
Yeah, so I'll touch on Ben Brown. Number one, he's not even guaranteed to pitch. He's projected long reliever. There was a bunch. I've seen 3 different pitchers kind of projected for a while for the Cubs all throughout the day. Matthew Boyd was supposed to go for a little bit. Now they're running an opener, and sounds like Ben Brown's coming in after. So there is some concerns there. Not only that, Ben Brown has a price tag, and KC just doesn't strike out. I get it, right? G. Risen hates this team. They don't hit home runs, blah, blah, blah. They're not a good offense, all that thing, but they still don't strike out. And in a bullpen game there, it's just Ben Brown could have a quick hook when they're already set up to basically do a bullpen game there. So that's the reason there. And his price point. Hayden Burnsong, I'm not going to play a pitcher that has the same walk percentage over the last month as he does a K rate. I mean, dude's got a 21% K rate and a 21% walk rate, 26% to lefties, 17% to righties. ISO numbers approaching 300, fly ball rate over 40%. I mean, it looks pretty brutal. This is one of the main times that I'm on the Atlanta offense. So naturally, I would tell Title and the rest of the crew listen here to play Birdsong, because you know how that goes. Anytime people are going to want to play this Atlanta offense in a good hitting park, good hitting weather as well, it's probably going to go south there. But that's the reason I'm out on Birdsong. He's just looked abysmal over the last month. And at this point of the season, I like to kind of compare season averages, but I really like to hone in on the last month, because a lot of times these pitchers are making tweaks, right, with their staff and things like that to figure some stuff out, and sometimes it goes south like it is for Birdsong right now.
So I would assume no Bryce Elder either. Hasn't been great for him.
Yeah, no, I'm on offense in Atlanta over the pitching. 9.5 total, wind blowing out, temperatures are hot, one of the better parks to hit in overall. I actually didn't know that ahead of the All-Star game. They said this is like the 3rd highest elevation park in all of baseball, behind like Coors Field and one other park, which is pretty crazy to say down in hot Atlanta there.
Yeah, I know you were there touring the stadium a couple years back or whatever. It always gets hot at Truist Park. What's going on, Gregory? Hope you're doing well. Big Ed in here as well. Hope everybody's having a good day. Yeah, nothing really more for me to add at pitcher. Like Woodruff, Boz, my 2 favorites for sure. Then it's Gossman and Lopez. I don't love Kirby much, and I think in chalkier teams, like if you're playing the Cardinals, Senga makes a lot of sense as a pairing, because you're probably not double spending. You can. They're cheap enough, I guess. But Senga in between Gossman, Boz, Kirby, you can even say Gallen and Woodruff. Like all of them will be a lot more popular. As you can see right here, I was messing with some of the ownership, how I think it'll be spread out. Or I think Woodruff we had projected, initially lower. Like I do think it's probably Woodruff, Kirby, Boz is the 3 highest. And then we get Gallen, Gossman after that. But it's pretty, I guess, condensed in terms of like who people are going to play. Like I think there's a lot of easy like X outs, and a lot of those guys that we did. If you're playing 150 teams, even 100 teams, maybe it's worth just running it with all the pitchers out there, especially if you're on the ultimate package, the starter package, you're able to build 500 plus, then you're able to see a lot more lineups and like, all right, I know I don't want these 3 pitchers. You can X them out, rerun the 500 teams and start narrowing it down that way. But yeah, Saber Sim, I mean, shout out. It's really tough. I would definitely really tough, meaning they just had a new update, the lineup groups portfolio. I mean, just absolute money. Saber Sim continuing to improve. Does take a little bit of work though. And Jordan, Tambo, and Rio in the Discord did a Saber Sim video couple days ago. If you're any SHIPIT Nation member on any SaberSim package, you can find that in the announcements pinned. It's a little over an hour. I would definitely recommend checking that out. Right on that note, before we talk some bats, we came out with our best NFL deal coming up. No better time to get in. If you get in right now, you will get free content, all access, like MLB, MMA, PGA, all the content leading up that we have to NFL season, you will get for free. On top of that, you also get college football when it comes. Shout out to a great college football team, a lot of great screenshots. Last year, projections, our money, ownership, a great team we have there. Usually you're spending $200 at another place. You'll get that for free in this NFL package. So that's all access, all the sports, college football, something we're coming out with on August 6th. Be on the lookout for that. A chance to make a lot more money than what you pay for the $349 in the subscription. And you get a DFS mastermind course, SaberSim included, projections, ownership, stack rankings like you know, all the sports, $549 in bonuses, $349 it costs for the NFL season with college football. Again, we'd love to have you. You also get the Discord, core plays, cash cores from myself, Hoop, Tambo, showdown content Monday, Thursday, Sunday if there's Saturday. Hey, next thing you know, 7 weeks, Nades, NFL will be back. Very excited over at SHIPIT Nation. We would love to have you. All right, let's go talk some bats. Let's pull up the Stone. We have the Stone for all sports, as you guys know. Best tool out there. I mean, look at that. You get hitter rankings on the left side. Let me refresh this. See if we have the confirmed lineup for the Yankees. You get pitcher rankings on here. You get hitter rankings. Yeah, there we go. So no Bellinger in the lineup. You get all the pricing, the xWOBA, the ISOs. You get the K percentage for the pitchers down here, pitcher rankings, etc. So we're going to talk some bats. Again, like button, subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. First game of the slate, the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Nades, 7:07 Eastern, FanDuel and DraftKings start time. Neither team going to get much ownership. As you can see, Yankees, Judge, Jazz are expensive. They're pretty cheap after that. No one playing the Yankees, guaranteed ninth inning at bats. I'm on the Gossman side more so. People aren't playing the Blue Jays. People are not playing Rodon, though, at that ownership. Blue Jays have not been striking out, have been hitting the ball well. It's not a game I'm really going to get to for stacks, though. Mainly one-offs. What about you?
Yeah, I don't love this game for stacking wise. I will say Toronto's been right up there with Milwaukee as one of the hottest teams in baseball. Actually, one of the hottest teams all season. They're top 5, top 6 now in baseball. In general, they actually lead the league in average in OPS against right-handed pitching over the last month. But again, they're facing Rodon, and if you get the good Rodon, he's good enough to strike out anybody and navigate anybody. So I will be off of Toronto for the most part here. If you want to pick a guy off of them, it'd be some right-handed power. Guys like Vlad, George Springer, Ernie Clement. I think those three make some sense. Bo Bichette at shortstop if you want. Kirk has some power. But I would prefer only mini stacks mainly on the Toronto side. And then more so on the Yankees side here. Kevin Gausman is the reason I think his ownership is going to get steamed pretty good. And he just, for whatever reason, has struggled against the Yankees this season in 2 appearances here. It would be the power bats, right-handed power is where you're kind of looking. He struggles a little bit against lefties, strikes out more righties, but pretty equal in terms of power allowed to both sides. So I would just be more looking at handedness of these hitters. Guys like Aaron Judge, smash righties, obviously, Jazz Chisholm, Trent Grisham, Wells, Stanton, Volpe, Dominguez. Those are all guys that have a 172 ISO or higher against right-handed pitching on the current season. So you can mix and match any of them. I would stay away from guys like Goldschmidt and Peraza. If you wanted to 5-stack the Yankees, nobody's going to play them. Looking at the Toronto bullpen over the last month, kind of league average, right in the middle. They're sitting about 15th in the league. That's up 7 spots than the previous. So been better than they have been. Still not anything electric by any means. So if they can get to Gausman, you're going to see the lesser arms out of that as well. And we know the upside that this Yankees team, but I do prefer other teams more than the Yankees on the slate.
Yeah, I most definitely too as well. Mainly just would be one-offs, mini stacks for me in that game. 10 games, cannot play everything. What's up, Lone Wolf? Hope you're doing well. Always good to see you in here. All right, next game on the slate, the New York Mets and the Los Angeles Angels. We are looking at, so that last game was 8.5 total, minus 120 favorites with the Yanks. This one also 8.5 total, minus 183 favorites are the Mets. Senga on the mound. Again, I think Senga's interesting at ownership, which I think comes in a little less than this, mainly as a pivot, even with the pitch count concerns. I'm not playing the Angels. Mets side, though, I like the Mets. Part of the reason they have one of the higher team totals on the slate at 5, but you look at the ownership, every single one in single digits, people aren't going to play the Mets, partly just because like they'll play the Dodgers when they want to spend up, or they'll play the Cardinals. There's other teams. The prices are pretty expensive in the top half of the order. The thing is, when I play the Mets, like I want Juan Soto, I want Pete Alonso, I want these guys at the top of the order. We're fine going down at pitching. You can get enough cheap mini stacks. Like pricing is not tight by any means. Tyler Anderson he's just not good. And don't get it twisted. You can play lefties against Tyler Anderson. Like he's almost reverse splits. He's bad against all of them. But like Juan Soto looks like a standout option. You're paying up lefty. The Mets aren't going to be played. Decent hitting weather, 80 degrees. Yeah, I like the Mets. I do mainly want to focus on the top half of the order. Yeah, I'm fine including like one of these guys down below, probably 2 max in hand builds. But the Mets aren't going to be played enough. I might as well play the best bats if I'm playing them. What are you doing in this game?
Yeah, I actually prefer the lefties for the Mets. Soto, Nimmo, Lindor, you got McNeil in there, you got Brett Beatty in there who has power at a weak third base position. You look at Anderson this year and last year, 17% K rate to lefties, an ISO of 245 and a fly ball rate over 36%. You got some pretty good lefties in this lineup for the Mets here. And then you get one of the worst bullpens in baseball behind Anderson in the Angel staff. So you get all things going for you here in this one, and I think it's definitely pretty good play. I wrote them up in the slate plan. Is my low-owned team of the slate. I was kind of going back and forth on who I wanted to put in there. There's going to be a lot of teams that are low-owned, if you will, right? Anytime a team like the Cardinals is going to command 40, 50% ownership, you're going to get a bunch of teams that are lower-owned than what they should be. Mets fall in that category. High-powered offense, bad bullpen behind them, bad starter who's skated by disaster, in my opinion. Here in Tyler Anderson, things can go south in a hurry. And anytime you can mini stack a team and go 1, 2, 3 and not worry about ownership, I have interest in tournaments, and that's what you're going to get here tonight. And then obviously Alonso, Vientos are great additions there too. I actually don't hate anyone in this lineup really, because even Acuna at second base, it's a weak position. He has stolen base upside anytime he gets on. So you get added upside 1 through 9 on this team. On the Angels side of things, you look at Senga. Senga can always have walk issues, so anytime you stack against a pitcher that has walk concerns, you can get there. Looking ahead of him over the last month, 20% K rate against righties, doesn't really allow power, keeps the ball on the ground, extreme ground ball guy. I don't really want to play any of these Angels. I just don't think he has as much upside as some of the other guys with the pitch count concerns as them. It's not a case where I'm going in and going to play these Angels. I'd rather play other teams on the slate. So it's Mets or pass for me here.
Both like the Mets, neither like the Angels. We'll keep it rolling. I know what you like in this game. Atlanta Braves and the San Francisco Giants, 9.5 total, -136 favorites are the Braves. You mentioned that you're playing some Braves bats. You mentioned that you're playing some Giants bats, 85 degrees, good hitting weather. Looking at ownership, I mean, again, really at the end of the day, if you like any team not named the Cardinals, just play them. You don't really have to think about it too much. Even if you like the Cardinals, I think it's pretty easy to get overweight. People always talk themselves off of it. And then pitching ownership will be spread out enough. What you can do with mini stacks. It's a good slate. It's a really good 10-gamer. If you like any of these teams a lot, don't not play them because of ownership. And I think that's a general rule in DFS. Like, you're always kicking yourself when you love a team. You don't play it for ownership. You play it. You find a way to get different. You just don't have to even get crazy different on a slate like this. So, yeah, take it away. Why do you like the Giants? Why do you like the Braves? Who are some of your favorite bets?
Yeah,
what's going on, Luke?
My favorite spot in this one is the Atlanta bats. I'm looking at Birdsong, and I always make the joke, right, blood in the water. Birdsong's metrics over the last month against both sides of the plate, like I talked about, 21% walk rate, 21% K rate, a 292 ISO, 390 wOBA, fly ball rate of 40%. That is beyond league terrible. So give me Acuna, give me Murphy, Matt Olson, Baldwin, Albies. Michael Harris is a cheap guy. Profar at hitting leadoff. I like him. The only guys I really don't like much are Nick Allen and Alvarez, both of their shortstops. So this in a team like this, I would look to probably get away from them because naturally those guys are going to get included in your Brave stacks just due to due to their salaries, I guess Alvarez is second base, third base eligible there, but they're both 2,200. So naturally, optimizers are going to throw those guys in for correlation, and it's a cheap spot and spend up elsewhere. I'd probably leave them off and just pick up another spend up bat or a mid price bat and get a different one-off in that position personally. Those are my least two favorite. I like all other 7 bats for the Braves. You talk about a bad Giants bullpen as well. They've struggled. They were red hot to start the year, and then kind of middle of the season leading up to the All-Star break, they scuffled a little bit. Have kind of picked it up a little bit, but they're still 20th in the league right now, bullpen rankings wise across the league, which is obviously bottom third. So give me some of these Braves in this park, third best hitting environment on the slate behind Tampa, behind Coors Field. Nobody's going to play this team. And I'll take my chances here against a guy that just can't keep the ball on the ground in Birdsong and gives up a ton of power. So that's where I'm going there. On the Giants side, you want lefties mainly against Bryce Elder. Elder's pretty good against righties in general. So I'd look at the lefties for the Giants: Yastrzemski, Rafael Devers, Jung-Ho Lee, Dom Smith, Patrick Bailey. And then sure, you can always add in a guy like Heliot Ramos, Matt Chapman, Willie Adames as a righty in there. But I want to start with the lefties first on the Giants side of things. I don't think Elder's any good. Full 9 at bats here in one of the best hitting environments on the slate. I like both sides of this game quite a bit.
How's the bullpens?
Giants bullpen is 20th over the last month, and then the Braves is 10th. So Braves have a better bullpen over the last month, but they've slipped. They're falling down. So neither of them are great in terms of bullpen usage. Let me look at what Atlanta's bullpen looks like. Atlanta's bullpen is pretty taxed. They had 6 arms through on Saturday. One of their arm in Dane Dunning threw yesterday 43 pitches. So Atlanta's bullpen is taxed, and then the Giants bullpen had 2 guys throw 28 and 23 yesterday, 16 and 11 on Saturday. So they're pretty taxed as well. Neither of them are very good. Giants bullpen is worse.
Awesome. Thanks, Nades. Always got the numbers in front. Helps a lot. I like looking at bullpens. Obviously, if you only get a couple innings of the bullpen, I mean, if Elder goes 6 innings, like your Giants stack's already probably shot. But if both teams, like Giants already bad bullpen, I prefer the Braves because I think Birdsong's worse than Elder. And I think there's just more upside. I would not play, just like you said, Nacho and Nick Allen. If I'm hand building, I'm not playing those two. I'm probably going into Saber if I'm playing 20 teams or less and maxing one of Nacho and Nick Allen. I don't know how many Braves teams I like playing those two together, especially on a slate like this. We don't have the Grom, Scooballs of the world. I mean, Strider, like guys that are 10K, 11K that you want to play at pitching. Pitching so weak. I want to play the best bats, the guys that have the most upside, double dong potential. So no Alvarez, no Allen. I think the Braves are very, very good, though. Giants probably more minis, but they're going to be super low owned, guaranteed 9th inning at bats, great hitting weather, pricing's good. I don't think they're terrible as 5-mans, but I definitely prefer Braves and more mini stacks on the Giants side. All right, next game on the slate. Again, appreciate all 260 watching. Do us a favor if you have not already. Hit the like button. Helps us out a ton. We appreciate it. Subscribe button as well. Lets you know when we go live. Next game on the slate, Tampa Bay Rays, Chicago White Sox. 9 total, -220 favorites are the Rays. People aren't going to play the White Sox. Shane Baz grades out really well in the pitcher rankings. Will be one of the highest owned, one of my favorite pitchers. Yeah, I'm not playing the Sox. If they beat me, they beat me. The Rays, though, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rays were like the 3rd highest owned team on the slate. Still, if you like the Rays, you most definitely can play them. Pricing's finally starting to catch up a little bit. Again, pricing does not matter much. Only one guy above 5K, but at least the first half of the lineup is 4-5 or greater. Yeah, I mean, Sean Burke, not good. Bullpen, not good. The Rays have treated us well all year. You can play them 1 through 9. Really not much not to like about, in my opinion. Like, I like the Rays more than the Braves and the Giants in a vacuum personally. What are you doing? And what's up, Lay the King? Good to see you. Or Lay the House. Good to see you. Lay the King.
Lay the king.
That is Red King and Lay the
Lay the House. Good dude there. One of my hockey guys in there too. But Rays, my top offense on the slate. I like them over the Cardinals. I like them over both of the teams I just talked about in the last game. Best hitting environment on the slate. Burke is I mean, he at least has a pulse. He's not great, but he's not horrible. He's better against righties, and the Rays have really good lefties in this lineup. And the righties that are in here hit the ball in the air and smash. Guys like Caminero, right, stud. We saw what he did over the All-Star weekend there. And you get a bad bullpen behind him. So give me this Rays offense here is my top spot on the slate. Love the lefties. That's where I'm starting. Chandler Simpson, bat and leadoff is really, really nice. All it takes for him is get hit by pitch, a walk, a single. He's stealing second. So you're looking at 7-8 points right out the gate when he does that. Aranda, love him. Josh Lau, love him. Kind of sucks Brandon Lowe's not in this lineup, but you get a guy like Taylor Walls, who's a switch hitter that has stolen base upside as well, for a cheap $3,000 price to make the stack much more affordable there. So I really like that. Don't sleep on Christopher Morel, fly ball guy down there hitting seventh. Danny Jansen, we know what he has. He has a ton of power. So, yeah, I love all 9 hitters in this Rays lineup. I want to start with the lefties in particular and then kind of fill out who I need position eligibility-wise. Caminero would be my favorite right-handed bat in this lineup if looking at just one. There on the White Sox side, not going to any White Sox. I don't care about the leverage on Shane Baz. I get the ballpark. I get all of that. If you wanted to pick a guy off, a lefty like a Kyle Teal at a catcher position, just home run hunting at 3K wouldn't be the worst take, or guys like Benintendi, Vargas. Those are the only 3 guys I would even have any sort of interest in playing on, and I would only one off them. But I think there's much better spots to go than any of those guys.
Appreciate it, Jake. I'm definitely going to keep forgetting that too. Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau. Thank you, Jake. I've been trying to do that for years, and I always mix it up, but keep reminding me. All right, we'll keep it rolling. Next game, the second lowest total on the slate, the Cubs and the Royals, 7.5 juice on the under, -156 favorites are the Cubs. Again, it's looking like an opener, and then Ben Brown's the projected long reliever for now. Nate says he's seen some conflicting comments on that, so be on the lookout. I'm not playing Ben Brown anyway. It's just, this is the weather game. It's the 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing in, which is why it's 7.5 juice on the under. Like, if it was good hitting weather, I would like the Cubs. Cameron's fine, but the Cubs are a team I just love to play. They're not high owned very often because their prices are kind of up there, and they just have plenty of guys throughout the order that have 30-plus point upside. But when usual home runs are now warning track fly balls or even worse, like the wind at Wrigley is one of the most significant of any park. I think it is. Someone can correct me if there's another one, like the wind tunnels. It just takes the ball. So like it takes the ball with you, whether it's going out, whether it's going in, the ball moves a lot more than other parks. So a 10-mile-an-hour is blowing in, some home runs not being home runs. That's why the run totals are very low. I just don't think this is a game we have to mess with. I'm not playing pitchers. I'm not playing bats. I hope to see no Cubs or Royals on the winner when it's all said and done. What about you, Nades?
Yeah, this is a game that I don't love. Cubs fall in that category of play them anytime they're low owned. They're all going to be sub 5%, probably sub 3% owned on the slate at these salaries. You could make the case to play them there, but and you look at the Royals bullpen. They had 5 bullpen arms throw pitches yesterday. 2 of them threw 20-plus on Saturday as well, so they are pretty taxed. It's not a horrible bullpen. It's not a great bullpen there, so you do have that. But Noah Cameron, I have some respect for him. It would just be one-offs. Guys like Sia Suzuki, Carson Kelly, who murder left-handed pitching. Both of those 2 guys would be my favorite. Dansby Swanson's got a nice price point at $3,800. I don't think anybody's really going to click that name in that range. They're much more willing just to go up and play a guy like Mason Wynn at that position. So anytime you can flip the build at a position like a shortstop position where you know Mason Wynn's going to be one of the most popular plays in the slate, I don't hate that on a one-off or 2 or 3-man stack. That's what I would limit it to. Probably not 5-man stack in the Cubs, but I like that heart of that order. Suzuki, Kelly, Swanson as a mini stack there. I think that's pretty interesting. And then on the Royals side, no interest in the Royals. We still have, because we originally had Matthew Boyd in here. Now it's Ben Brown. They're opening. I don't know what the heck the Cubs are going to do here personally. So that takes me firmly out of play on all of the Cubs and then lowers my interest big time. And I already didn't have any in the Royals anytime you're facing a bullpen game there.
Yeah, I'm seeing like Ryan Brazier guy opening, and then looks like it should be Ben Brown, but I don't want to mess with any of it. The one appeal, if you want to like take some one-off bats or something, like you mentioned, the Bobby Witt stuff, the shortstop. I mean, the hitter rankings on a lot of these Cubs, even the Royals, the heart of the order, outside of the leadoff guys, like projecting very well in our hitter rankings.
I would say Salvy's still too cheap. I mean, that dude has two home run upside every time he's on the slate, and you can play him at 3,400 a catcher. I mean, last year we weren't paying under 4,500 for Salvy, and this year he hasn't broke 3,500, 3,600 for a good reason, right? He struggled for some time there, but he still has a ton of power against Ben Brown, who's a fly ball guy in general, that he's going to probably see at least once, maybe twice.
Good shout. I don't hate it at all. But again, mainly one-offs, mini stacks. I don't like 5-manning either side. All right, an interesting spot. Seen a couple people talking about the Rangers today. Oh, there we go. What's going on, Juice? Happy early birthday. Shout out to you, Juice. Always been around for years. Good to see you. Boz grades out well for sure. Yeah, number 2 in our pitcher rankings. We both like Shane Boz quite a bit. Second highest K prop on the slate as well. All right, next game, Oakland. I can't even say Oakland. The Athletics taking on the Rangers. We are looking at where are we? 8.5 total, minus 120 favorites are the Rangers. Again, Jack Leiter and Jacob Lopez on the mound. I'm really curious to hear your take on this, because both of these pitchers are going to be ones people click on when they go down low. So you actually get some direct leverage, and not a ton, but like 15%. And again, I think this could be like 18%. Leiter maybe 16%. Like, I think it's right around there for both guys. 1/5 of the field roughly are playing both of these pitchers. Both teams have an okay run total. There's definitely worse on the slate. What are your thoughts? Can we make a case for like Brent Rooker, number 1, Nick Kurtz, number 10, Corey Seager, 15? Obviously, you can play some one-off, so you're gonna 5-man either of these teams.
So I'll start with the Rangers, and I'll just read out a stat here for you. Over the last month, they got a 194 batting average, 6 home runs, an OPS of 560. That's worse than the Rockies. To put that in perspective against left-handed pitching. So I get the reasoning, right? People are seeing Lopez is going to get some ownership. It's not like Lopez is going to be 50%. I'm not going to play a team like the Rangers, who are bottom 5 in the league over the last month against left-handed pitching. I mean, you're talking almost 400 OPS points different than the top half the teams like the Brewers, like the Rays, etc. So it's not for me. I'll take other chances on the slate, playing like teams like the Braves and the Giants at equal ownership in retrospect, then play a team like this. Again, it's baseball at the end of the day. Anything can happen. It's just not for me. Wyatt Langford, he'd be my favorite guy as a one-off. He smashes lefties. He's fine. Higashioka, if he's in there as a value catcher, he always has a ton of power. Don't hate him. Marcus Semion's finally figured out how to hit a home run here and there, but at 4K for Marcus Semien feels like kind of a safety gross play, and I don't like that. So Langford's my favorite bat by far on the Rangers side. I'm not going to be stacking the Rangers. You look at their ownerships, it's right there in line with the Giants and the Braves, who I like a lot more. So that's where I would go. On the A's side, the A's have been pretty brutal. Leader, I don't think, is a very good pitcher in general. You look at the Athletics, they're 22nd in the league in baseball against right-handed pitching over the last month, 235 average. You look at their OPS, it is a 736, so they are up there towards the top in OPS because obviously they have a ton of power, right? So anytime a team has Brent Rooker that can hit the ball out of anywhere, Lawrence Butler, Wilson's been one of the better rookies all season long, doesn't never strike out. It's just not a spot that I like personally. One-offs or mini stacks are fine, but this is a game that I hope Jacob Lopez goes out there and gets me 18 DraftKings points, and the game's like 2-1, 3-1 with maybe a 2-run or a 3-run shot from a guy like Brent Rooker or something like that. It's not a spot where I'm really going in on bats, just mini stacks. Rooker, Kurtz, my 2 favorite.
I agree. I hope I see Jacob Lopez probably score 18, 20. I'm Lopez over Rangers today. Corey Seager, I think a good one-off. Rooker, Kurtz. After that, nothing I really want in this game. All right, keep it rolling. Coors Field, the big boy of the slate, by far the biggest total, 11.5. Juice on the over, minus 163 favorites are the Cardinals taking on the Rockies. I mean, just look at this ownership. Like 102 when you add it all up. We're seeing 19, 29, 7, 14, 13, 41. Going to the other side with the Rockies, 62. So we're looking at 2 of the highest owned teams on the slate, 2 of the highest run totals we're looking at. Again, we did see a 5.81 for the Rays, 5.48 for the Dodgers. Rockies right there, though. Cardinals the highest. I mean, these prices are just bad. you should add 1K to every single one on the Cardinals. So it's not hard to play them. Again, pitching, it's not like we're spending up at pitching either. If you want to play the Cardinals, it's easy. That's the only team I'd really be conscious of what I'm doing in my other spots. The Rockies, they're going to be owned a little bit, but I mean, I prefer the Rockies at this ownership than I do the Cardinals if I'm having to pick. I like seeing Tovar and his good hitter ranking. I always like playing Hunter Goodman. Dude's a complete stud. Moniak's fine. McMahon's got pop. I don't know how much I love the bottom of the order. Talk to me, Nades. I know you're not playing the Cardinals. Explain really why, or at least you're not going to be overweight. But I'm more curious on your Rockies take. Take this one away.
Yeah, so if I read you these numbers and didn't tell you who was playing, who was pitching, who they're, all I told you was the handedness, a 185 ISO, 4 home runs, 500 OPS, 272 slugging, with 14 extra base hits in 254 plate appearances over the last month. And now they're all going to be 30 to 40, 50% owned, just relative to the slate. I mean, I'll take my chances and go elsewhere when people are going here. The Cardinals are almost dead last in the league against left-handed pitching over the last month. Again, I take a lot into account. You look at last month, that's 254 plate appearances. That's a pretty damn good sample size of midseason form players, right? And that's where I'm going. So Cardinals for me, I'm full fade in the Cardinals. The only two guys I'd have interest in, like I wrote up in the slate plan, would be Herrera and Contreras, the only two guys that hit lefties good. I get it. Gomber's not going to go out there and throw a complete game. And it's still the Rockies bullpen behind it. But on a slate where it seems pretty girlish. We talk about ownership. Rockies are like the third highest owned or second highest owned stack on the slate. That just shows you how everyone's just condensing in on the Cardinals offense on a slate like this, where there's not really pitching to go crazy for, and there's not really offensive spots that people are kind of loading the boat on. So everybody's just condensing around the Cardinals offense. And I'm a metrics guy, and yeah, it could fail me at the end of the day, but this team has been absolutely brutal against left-handed pitching. So I'm not going to play them. I actually have a lot more interest in the Rockies team. The Rockies are actually starting to come around. Moniak, former #1 overall pick, he's starting to hit the ball well right now. I like him. Tovar at a cheap price point. It's nice to see him back in that lineup. Goodman, Beck are two power monsters that can hit it out of anywhere. You got Ryan McMahon there at 3,900 as a nice value at third base. I think he's good. The guys I don't like are the three at the back half, but I mean, you get a Fernandez at 3,100, a lefty there who really doesn't strike out a ton, as you can see there. So the three guys at the back half, what they do have going for them is they put the ball in play at least. They're all 15%, 16% strikeouts at home on the season. So anytime you have that, good things can happen, right, when you're putting the ball in play in a park like Coors. So I have much more interest in the Rockies side of things than I do in the Cardinals. Cardinals full fade for me. MME, I wouldn't full fade them, but I'm not going over the field on them. It's just a chance that I'm going to take here. There's times where I play Coors Field. This is not going to be one of them on the Cardinals side.
A lot of this, it makes a lot of sense for all the reasons you said. I want to say, you said it at the end. If you're playing 20 teams, if you're playing 20 plus teams, even probably 15 plus, I think it's a mistake Xing out the Cardinals. Shout out to SaberSim, Contest Flashback. Again, if you are a member, Starter Pack, Ultimate, you're able to see Contest Flashback. You're able to check out all the tournaments in different sports, like Hebrew Cheetah, one of the best out there. What are they doing? The Pro, Giant Squid, Papa Gates, whatever name you deem to be the best, you can click on what they're doing. Almost all of those guys, granted, they are playing 150 teams, but they might have a stack of all 20 teams today. They might have at least one 5-man stack of something, or they spread it out very much. Part of the reason is baseball is so high variance. When you're 5-2-1s, 5-3s, usually how you win, there's so much variance in that. If your 5-man stack scores 3 runs, you're not going to cash that day. So on a sport like, whereas NBA, Giannis, he's going to play 36 minutes. He averages 1.9 points per, like, fantasy points per minute when he's on the court. And you take Dame off, and then this goes up. And like, that's when you will see pros play 100% of people on certain days. A 3.8K guy that's going to play 38 minutes because there's 3 injuries. It's easy to project those guys. It's a lot easier. It's a lot harder for them to fail because there's so many more possessions in basketball, etc. So many stuff there. Baseball, you got 4 at bats. Pitching, I mean, how many times? Mackenzie Gore, Sonny Gray a couple days ago. Baseball is very hard. So limiting your risk, limiting going all in on certain teams, People spread out a lot more in baseball than they do pretty much every other sport. So that's full circle. My original point, if you're playing probably even 10 teams or more, Xing out the Cardinals wouldn't be my favorite way to go. Just go way under the field. Maybe if in 10 teams, you played one Cardinals team, that team can still get there. And if it does, I promise you're happy if it's on the far right. But just full fading, I think, is a mistake. When you build Cardinals teams, build them a little differently. Again, I use Senga as a way to get different. Upper tier, everyone's going different options. You pivoted pitcher upper tier, you're playing a chalkier 5-man stack, you get different in other spots. So, just keep messing around with SaberSim. So many videos out there, their new updates, the portfolio manager. It's just awesome. And a lot of the times you run SaberSim in the dry run, they'll want you to play some Cardinals. You use the Sims, Cardinals are going to be popping in some way. Again, you can lower it, you can raise it, you can do whatever. I just think Xing them out would be a mistake. I prefer Rockies over Cardinals too. I don't love Cardinals at ownership. If I was playing 3 teams, I probably wouldn't play the Cardinals in any of them today. It's also worth noting, you mentioned McGreevy. One thing, Nate, and I'll throw it to you. Doesn't grade out terrible in the pitcher rankings relative to his ownership, the nature of the slate. So, again, if you're playing, you like some Rockies, if you're playing 10 teams, maybe you have one McGreevy team, you're already 3x the field on him or whatever it is. So I just thought that was interesting. You talked about him as a punt pitcher. 13th isn't terrible in the pitcher rankings.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason I like McGreevy. And not only that, Rockies are probably going to be the second or third highest owned team in the slate. I would say probably the second highest owned, at least what I'm seeing now. It's going to be the Cardinals and then a drop off, and it's going to be probably the Rockies and the Rays, I would say, are right there. There's going to be a lot of teams in that 10 to 15% range. Like I talked about, anytime a team like the Cardinals is commanding this much ownership, it's a different ball game. I will say too, shout out to SaberSim with their new diversity with their portfolio management. They're in an MME set. I'd never really X out anybody because on the ultimate plan, they have, even in the upgraded plans, their portfolio management system is not just adding min uniques, forcing min uniques. It's actually taking a look at your portfolio in general and giving you shots. So if you cap your Cardinals ownership at, say, 15%, well, it's going to know in your other 85% of your portfolio that you're underweight on the Cardinals and going to give you good leverage stacks against the field to give you the best chance. And in those 15%, it's going to give you the best shot, projections wise, formula based wise, with those Cardinal stacks compared to the field. So huge upgrade that they just recently rolled out that Title's talking about. So we have tutorials. They have tutorials. I spent a bunch of time because, again, I was on vacation when this all rolled out. And came back to SaberSim and it looked completely different. And I watched probably about 2 hours of content, really played around with it, messed with it. And it's absolutely incredible on what they did with the portfolio management there to really give you much more competitive lineups with a lot less manual labor work and tweaking things. Obviously, I don't believe just clicking a button right in today's landscape of DFS is the right thing to do, but they have a lot of tools to help you just get your lineups in a better spot, better position to give yourself the best chance to be profitable quicker than previously.
Yeah, the main thing, like long story short, how I would explain it is each lineup in your portfolio now looks at other lineups that you're playing in that portfolio, and you don't want to cannibalize yourself in tournaments, meaning it almost is bad to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a tournament. It looks good, but if all of them were just, say, Astro stacks, you just went all in there. When you win, so much of the money is first place, like second place, huge drop off, third place to first place, huge drop off. You really want that first place equity. You don't want a handful of your teams competing against each other for that first place. You'd rather spread those teams out so you have more unique chances at the first place where your lineups tell that story. Because again, you only really care about that one team at first place. There's so much money there. Cannibalizing yourself, you will lose a lot more on more slates. This also mitigates the risk. That's the word Jordan used, and I really like it because it takes everything into consideration. It hedges different things in different ways without you being crazy yourself. So yeah, definitely shout out SaberSim. I highly recommend watching the Jordan video with Tambo, with Rio. SaberSim himself has a lot of videos out there. We have a SaberSim portion in Discord, just by far the most powerful tool. And again, you do get that. Our NFL package just rolled out. SaberSim is included. College football is included, which is usually additional fee for others. When you do get in, like right now, you get baseball, you get MMA, you get PGA, you get all of our content until football season. Again, $349, SaberSim included, all the NFL content, college football, projections, ownership, showdown. No better time to join. We would love to have you, and definitely get in the Discord if you do join. All right, let's keep it back. Hey, I like those little tangents, though. We had some time. SaberSim, a huge piece of all of our process over here at SHIPIT Nation. And SaberSim tutorials, Sheets, one of the best in the business, did a golf one last week. Definitely recommend checking that out as well. All right, next game on the slate, 3 games left. Houston Astros, Arizona Diamondbacks. We are looking at a 9 total, -144 favorites are the D-backs. Zach Gallen, Colton Gordon on the mound. Gallen going to be owned and a bad pitcher ranking, and the Astros will be really low owned. So curious your thoughts there. What I do know, though, is these D-backs are a team I want to play almost every single day. Lineup is great. Ownership's going to stay in check. Pricing on some guys is expensive. It doesn't matter on a slate like this. They're going to be low owned. I don't never mind playing the bottom of the order. Yeah, I like the D-backs, one of my favorites. Stay hot, D-backs. And then the Astros. Curious to hear your take there. You didn't like Gallen much, it didn't sound like.
Yeah, so the D-backs are my second favorite stack on the board, condemning ownership, all of that right there behind the Rays. I have them kind of 1A, 1B. You look at Colton Gordon, he's really good, or not really good. He's above league average against lefties, which makes sense, right? Lefty with good movement, good stuff. Where he drops off against righties, and he allows tons of power, low strikeouts, and a lot of fly balls. Doesn't keep the ball on the ground, and now he's going to see 2 lefties in this lineup that both hit left-handed pitchers good, and then all righties. Perdomo's going to hit from the right side, I would assume. Gurriel, Ketel Marte, Grichuk, Suarez. You do have some pinch hit concerns with guys like Randall Grichuk, Blaze Alexander if he's in there as well. You got James McCann, a cheap catcher who smashes left-handed pitching. I love the D-backs here tonight. I really like that wraparound. James McCann, Alexander, Perdomo. Wrap it around to the top with guys like Ketel Marte, Gurriel, or pretty much I would probably pick 4 righties at least, and then add in 1 lefty just to be a little bit different. Guys like Corbin Carroll, right? Title's boy who took some cheese off of me earlier this year. Josh Naylor, both of those guys hit left-handed pitching well, so I'm not worried about any of them. Love all 9 hitters in there. There is, like I said, some pinch hit concerns with guys like Blaze Alexander, Randall Grichuk are probably the 2 main pinch hit concerns there. But outside of that, D-backs are usually pretty good about pinch hitting. Ownership's going to be in check. The one concern is the Astros bullpen. However, I did pull up their bullpen: 39 pitches, 36 pitches, 35 pitches, 35 pitches, 28, 26, 26, 25. They have not one arm in their bullpen over the last 3 days that have thrown less than 25 pitches. That's some tired arms out there in that bullpen. They threw all but 1 arm on Saturday, and then they threw 4 arms yesterday too in their series over the weekend there. So anytime you're going up against a good bullpen, I like to see if they're taxed, and this is about as taxed as you can get out of a bullpen, despite them being the best bullpen in baseball there. So love the D-back side of this game. The Astros side, I just have a hard time with this damn Astros team. Gallen, I think people are just going to jump on him because the nature of the slate. His projection's pretty good. The overall pitching's pretty weak. You want power righties mainly. He gives up a lot of power, at least over the last month against him. You span that out between this year and last year, it's kind of more neutral, with some fly balls right around 30%. So I would look at the fly ball guys here for the Astros. They only have 3 of them, realistically: Walker, Dubon, and Caratini. Caratini, Walker would be my 2 favorites, a little mini stack. I'm not going to 5-man stack this team overall. However, I will say the D-backs bullpen is also pretty bad behind Gallen, one of the worst in baseball. So this could go one of 2 ways. I prefer the D-back side much more, but I wouldn't hate some Astro stacks here. They got a pretty healthy implied run total. Gallen's going to pick up some ownership. It's just not an offense I like. So in that regard, I would probably lean more into stacking than picking mini stacks off when I don't like a bunch of their hitters, and just hope that if you hit them, that you're on there, and then whoever, whatever 4 or 5 that you play, kind of do the damage is how I'd approach it. Much more prefer the D-back side of this game.
Yeah, if I'm playing Astros, it's probably mini stacks 1 through 6, and it's in like Cardinals. Like, it's in an expensive stack, and they're going to be low owned. It fills out the position eligibility, like a Yainer Diaz at catcher, Altuve at second, Caratini catcher first. Like, it's going to be these guys that grade out fine in the hitter rankings, that are cheap, that fill out a position I need. I don't see myself 5-manning the Astros. I'd actually prefer playing Zach Gallen over 5-manning the Stros. The bottom of the order, these guys, Dubon, Short, Matthews, like I don't want to mess with any of them. And Gallen's price tag with the nature of the slate, pitching at home, should have some run support. Yeah, I think he's a solid option. But again, that's why he's one of the highest owned pitchers on the slate. So D-backs I like. I mean, yeah, our man Jason, he absolutely is. Double donged on Saturday. Corbin Carroll's seen the ball really well. They're hitting for sure. And great info about the bullpen being taxed and all those arms. So I like it. I like it, Nades. D-backs and then Astros minis. This one, I mean, Mariners, Brewers, 6.5 total. Not too often you see that. -121 favorites are the Mariners. I'm not playing any bats against Woodruff, against Kirby. Are you?
It would just be stolen base guys on the Brewers, not only because they're the hottest team in baseball, but that you can also steal on Kirby. One of the best stolen base targets on the slate. Has allowed 25 over the last 2 seasons. Turang, Churio, Yelich, Perkins, Ortiz are the main guys you're looking at. Collins are the main guys. I would leave it to mini stacks only. Just because it's a hot baseball team, nobody's going to play them, and stolen base upside on a overall spot where offense I don't think is going to go crazy as long as Coors Field doesn't really nuke. I know we talked about a lot of other spots that we do like. I have a little bit more. If there was a lot of games on the slate where we had 10, 11 totals, like a win game in Wrigley, something like that, I'd probably full cross this out. Just mini stacks only on the Brewers side. On the Mariners side, Cal Raleigh, you can always play him anytime he's on the slate. Doesn't take me to tell you that. The dude just murders. Baseball is there. Overall, it's a pitcher's duel in this one, more so on the Brewers side for mini stacks and stolen base upside.
Yeah, I definitely don't like this. What's up, Michael? It has been a little bit. Good to see you. I saw this. So Wisconsinites most definitely are excited about the Brewers. Rightfully so. Nades, I know you're excited. All I got to say for all the Brewers fans, though, hey, we've seen this, not this run, but we've seen the Brewers get hot, a lot of hope, a lot of that going in the postseason, and they absolutely do nothing. Still a lot of baseball to be played, my Wisconsinites. Brewers fans out there, don't get too excited yet. That's all I want to say. I mean, this like father-in-law sounds like G Rising. G Rising, like 3 weeks into this, 3 weeks into the season, goes, "Oh, the best team in baseball," and I corrected it, or like I was like, "Are you sure? Look at the record." I mean, there's a lot of baseball still to be played. Don't get too excited, but hey, it is cool to see the Brewers sweeping the Dodgers. It's not something we've seen in a while, but yeah, temper the expectations for now. Still a lot of baseball to be played. Nade's over there. If you want to say anything to that, Nades, you can. Otherwise, take us in.
Yeah, the only thing I mean, I've been here before, right? Last year, I still remember I was flying back from a work trip, and I knew Pete Alonso hasn't done anything. I was like, he's going to hit a home run here, and we're going to lose the game, and they're going to move on. And sure shit, exactly what happened. But chucked my phone to the cockpit and said, screw this. But what I will say about this Brewers team, I've watched them for the last, I don't know, however, 15, 20 years, is we have more pitching than we've ever had before. I will say that. To have success in the playoffs, you need 3 quality arms. We have Miz, Woodruff, and Peralta, and then our back half guys are actually the corpses of what we have are actually pitching pretty damn good. That can obviously all flip in a blink with one injury, one thing like that. But it is pretty fun. But yeah, I have definitely tempered expectations because we've been here before. The one thing in the outlier is our pitching is different than those years past. We've really only had 1 or 2. We were really missing that third and fourth arm, and I think we got them.
Hey, I'll be cheering, no doubt about that. I won't be devastated if they lose in the first round again like I'm used to. All right, last game of the slate, Dodgers Twins. 9 total, -174 favorites are the Dodgers. It's going to be, again, down here, Ohtani to start, and his K-prop's 3.5. So we're looking at probably a couple innings, and then Dustin May after that. I mean, that takes me off of these Twins. No chance I'm playing them. The Dodgers. They're going to be low owned. They have one of the highest team totals. They only have one guy in their lineup over 5K, which of course is Ohtani. But looking at how low their pricing is, low their ownership is, healthy run total, they have not been good as of late. But that's why we're getting all of the low ownership, the low pricing, etc. I'm good jumping on the Dodgers. It looks like a team I want to be overweight on. I can focus on the top half of the order for the most part. Again, pitching, pricing, it's not very tight. I want Ohtani. Freeman, if he's in the lineup. He might not be. Will Smith looks good. Teoscar. I'm going to be playing some of these Dodgers. I know they've been cold at this ownership, this run total, the nature of the slate. Yeah, I like the Dodgers. Do you like the Dodgers?
I do like the Dodgers. They did make the slate plan. Everyone's saying the same thing, right? They just lost 6 in a row to the Brewers, all of this stuff. I mean, it is still one of the best offenses in baseball. And right now we're getting suppressed ownership because the recency bias is all the same. Everyone's saying this team sucks. They can't hit right now. They're terrible. But what happens then in the retrospect in DFS is their price points come down, their ownership comes down. And at these ownerships earlier in the year, these guys would be right there with the Cardinals, is the highest owned offense on the slate against a guy like David Festa, who, yes, does have strikeout ability, but he allows power and fly balls to righties for sure, and then also fly balls and some power to lefties. Can you play Ohtani at a hitter tonight?
Yeah, it's hitter. It's not pitcher.
Okay, so that makes it a lot better. If he was pitcher, I'd have less interest here, but I love the righties first. Andy Pages, Will Smith, Teo Hernandez are my 3 favorite bats here. And then you go into Ohtani, Conforto, Edman. I mean, Mookie's been brutal this year. They moved him to the leadoff spot yesterday. I don't think it really did much there. He'd be my least favorite guy, but at 4,400, he's a direct pivot right there off of Mason Wynn for $200 cheaper at a fraction of the ownership. I mean, he's going to get ownership. He's probably going to be one of the higher owned guys, but again, it's if you want to play a Cardinal stack, leave out Mason Wynn, add in Mookie Betts. You're different right there. Things like that is what I look at, but I really like the righties first. Will Smith, Hernandez, Pages, and then Ohtani, Freeman if they're in there, and then kind of fill it out with what you need position eligibility wise. Tommy Edman has a nice price point at a week, second base, third base, dual position eligible there that I like. Twins bullpen, kind of, they're over the last month, they're 22nd in the league. Looking at their usage, pretty rested in general, but the Twins bullpen is really good at the back half. They're not great at the front half. So if this game gets out of hand, you're not going to see those really good bullpen arms at the back half. Their setup man, their closer. You're going to see just their normal arms, which does help the case there if you're stacking the Dodgers. And what I will say with the Dodgers is you're going to want to be early on this team because as soon as they break out for 10, 12 runs, they're going to be mega chalk in the next slate. You're going to jump on them, and then they're going to get shut out again. So I will say that DFS, you always want to be early on a team, and it goes back to portfolio management. If you have a Dodger stack, highest likelihood is they probably stay cold and they don't do it. But if you jump on them tonight and they score 10 or 12 on a slate like this, where ownership's really condensed and not on them, you're going to have a pretty good chance to make all your money back that you lost over the last 2 weeks on those Dodgers.
You could lose for 2 months, 3 months straight. If you keep the same bankroll management and you take first place, usually that first place prize is enough to pay for all those losses. You have to expect literally to cash like 5 times a month in MLB. It's very, very difficult. There's not much like min cash. I mean, of course you can min cash, but when you're 5-man stacking a team, your team probably either does really good and you're competing for the top, or they do really bad and you're nowhere near the cash line. And that is the expected outcome every single night. Just know what you are playing. Dodgers, one of my favorites. It's Dodgers, it's the Rays, it's the Braves, and then the Rockies. If I had to pick my favorites, and my favorite pitchers are Woodruff, Boz, Gossman. Yeah, those are my 3 favorites. My favorite cheap one would be Jacob Lopez. Nades, final thoughts, anything for stacks, pitching, anything you want to say to the people before we get on out of here?
Yeah, final thoughts. I'll go Boz, Woodruff, Lopez, my 3 favorite pitchers on the slate. I got the Rays, the D-backs, is my kind of 2 favorite stacks on the slate, and then it'd be right there with the Giants, the Braves, and the Dodgers is where I'm looking at. Much prefer the Rocky side of Coors Field in general, and good luck tonight. Pretty fun slate here in general. Hope to see a bunch of those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top rolling into our NFL season, which is going to be here before we know it.
Absolutely. And again, if you do want to join us, the best deal, SHIPITNation.com, the banner right here, early bird special, $349. Gets you all access to football season, gets you college football. Big news giveaway-ish thing coming August 6th. Be on the lookout for that. I probably already said more than I should have said, but it's going to be absolutely massive. Spent a lot of marketing on it. SHIPITNation.com. If you're looking for monthly, for weekly, we also have that. Join the nation. You can check out all the different packages. That's going to do it for us, though. Good luck to everybody out there. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Like button and subscribe button on the way out. Helps us out a ton. For Big Nades, I'm Title. Good luck tonight, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace.